May 5th, 2026. This is the S&P 500 E Futures Mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. What the chart looked like today, the only economic data that came out was around 7 o'clock Pacific Standard, which is about right here. And it was the ISM Services PMI. I think it also maybe the job openings or JOLTS job openings according to Forex Factory. And overall, the chart looked like it was a spike in a very shallow channel up. It was very slow price action. Most of the price action happened in the first, I would say, 2.5 hours. Because you can see from 6:30 Pacific Standard to about 9:30 or 9 o'clock. This is all the price action. Then the latter half is all this, and it was just a really slow grinding day. I only found maybe 2 setups and maybe a few almost setups, and I didn't take any trades today. It just didn't look quite. It didn't really look that good, especially after 9 o'clock. Price is really slow, so taking any setups, it felt like since they're taking about maybe 2, maybe even 3 minutes sometimes for the candles to close. Like any kind of news item that comes out, and there's been some news, maybe there's going to be the Iran stuff the ceasefire is not going to work. So just any kind of thing happening when you're sitting in a candle feels like it's just kind of ripe for a big knee-jerk reaction. So I didn't want to be involved in that. So it ended up being no trade day. I'm going to get into the setups. Pre-market looks like it was a rally. Break of the screen up channel, test the high. Break makes the second move up. On the open, I just noticed it's like making higher lows and higher highs. And then there was maybe an almost trade here because it's a localized high. It's also the high of day. It's a first entry long pullback in the same candle, not the same candle, but in the same candle that breaks below and it moves up. Kind of gives you a very small micro second entry long. But this is, well, it's a little hard for me to trust because I didn't have this yellow up channel established yet. So this is just kind of bouncing off of nothing. I did have something like this, but I try to make it fit. I try to make the second swing fit, then you have this overshoot down here. So I just left it alone. It wasn't until later that I thought, okay, maybe there's an EMA bounce, but it just didn't feel like a strong enough setup. Then there was these 2 legs down, 1 leg down, pull back, second leg down. It is cleaner second entry long. And at the time, this was one of a few lines that I had drawn. So I really wasn't sure where it could be because it could actually be something slightly tighter like this. If it was this blue one, in which case there'd be like no overshoots. They have like pretty much almost 4-touch confirmation. This is an overshoot. Maybe it's coming back in. I wanted to see a stronger signal bar because it's closing right below the EMA. So I called an almost trade. And after I actually broke up and above, I was looking for a higher low here, being aware that this is the high of day. If you did get a higher low, if it closes too close to this line, it feels risky. Then prices move up, creates another localized high. It's like a first entry long pullback, second entry long, terrible signal bar. It's also localized low, first entry short, second entry short, but I saw it. I didn't really like it just because you'd be selling into this potential support of this yellow up channel. It's a localized low, first entry short, second entry short failure. Keep in mind when you see this failure though, you're making new highs, so you really don't know how much more room there is to run. I mean, it could just keep going, certainly, or it could start taking a pullback, like a correction. So it just felt risky, nothing there. Pushes the high side, there's a fail breakout here, then it starts reversing. I was thinking maybe because this orange down channel fit pretty well, and initially I was thinking, is it tight here, or is it actually lower here? I eventually kept it here and treated this as an overshoot, looking for an overshoot on the side, but it kept going. So there was actually no setup here that I particularly liked. It's a localized low, then it makes another swing low. So it's actually new low here. You only have a first entry short. Break of this orange down channel is technically tested low here, but even this orange down channel, it feels ambiguous because there's already an overshoot here. If you kept it wider, you could say then it hasn't tested low, but now it has over here. But I didn't really like the fit of this channel. Not really this one, and to be honest, this channel also doesn't feel super duper. I'm having trouble here. Okay. This also just doesn't feel very clean, so I just left it alone. Keep in mind, this great up channel was established later. I did have a few lines drawn, and this was one of them, one touch, two touch. But up until this second confirmation, I can't really trust this as a potential resistance. And even when it does come up for the second touch, it's just the second touch. I want a three touch confirmation to trust the channel. But you can already tell for sure the bias is going up. So it starts moving, hits a localized low. First entry short, pull back, pushes up. You technically have a second entry short. It's not a good signal bar. I'm looking for a lower high. You get a lower high here. And I'm expecting, well, I'm thinking this break of this green up channel might want to test the high. So yes, it also wants to test the low of this orange down channel, but this green one seems to be the one that's dominating. So I'm expecting prices maybe to move up, even though you do have a technical first entry short, second entry short, and a lower high here. If you kind of looked at where the line or the push actually started, it's about right here. So you could see it as a visual first entry short, maybe a second entry short. But again, as I said, I'm not sure if this is going to test the higher. Am I going to get a second leg to match this one, like a push up and then another leg like this? So no trade for me. Pushes down. It does give you a localized high. First entry long pullback. Second entry long. I like the signal bar, but I want a confirmation. It does give you this confirmed second entry long, but what happened was while I was waiting for this candle here with the small green body, it opens, it actually creates a new low. So actually when it pushes down, then I'm very cautious. It does rally and close higher, but then I want to see a next candle now. The next candle, unfortunately, is inside to this guy. It does make a double top though. So I'm thinking, okay, it looks like it's two clean legs down. I want ideally in the next couple candles, a higher low. Then I feel confident that these two legs are valid. And it's pushing back up. And unfortunately, it doesn't do that. It just kind of flushes down. So then I'm just abandoning all thoughts about going long right now. It gets choppy. It's a localized low area, or swing low. First entry short, pullback. Technically, you have a second entry short, but it looks like it was maybe moving up this pink up channel, break, test the high. Later, I put in this green up channel, but it doesn't feel as correct either because there's like a empty space here, empty space here. It feels like this red one was the valid one, broke and test the high, but it didn't really set up anything particularly nice because as I look to the left, I'm looking for reasons to go long, but it is hitting the high of day and it seems to be struggling. So even though I'm looking for reasons to go long, I need a really clean setup. Definitely not thinking of counter trend, taking a short just yet. So then prices looks like it's starting to move down, has a localized high. It kind of creates this triple test, triple top here. I mean, this one's slightly higher, but at least there's like a double top here. Looks like it's moving down. It's like first entry long pullback, second entry long. This is kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I need at least a higher low above the EMA, and you don't really get that. It pushes back down. It's a localized low, and it actually sets up one possible trade right here. So it looks like it's kind of bottoming here. It's a first entry short, second entry short, two legs up. I actually thought there was a possible trade here. It looks like it broke, made two legs down, or maybe it's just one ugly leg down. But I was wondering if it was going to actually come back down as a decent signal bar. I thought there might have been enough room for a quick 6-tick scalp. But actually, in hindsight, I marked this earlier and then I didn't really think about it until I'm looking at it now. And that is the benefit of hindsight. But I think in real time, this is a possible trade. But in hindsight, I'm not so sure what is as good because now that I have time to think about it, it looks like it is a first entry short, second entry short. It's a decent signal bar. I mean, the risk is kind of low. It's only 6 ticks. But looking at how much I need to move from here, 72.82, down to about 72.80.50. So actually, there is enough room. So I guess it's kind of a possible trade, but I'm not that thrilled about it. The prices move down. It hits the support area. There is a potentially triple test, but there's no setup here. It's only really a first entry long. Pushes the high side. There's a potential fail breakout, which I marked here. So I thought the high side resistance was here, but it pushes out. Gives you a lower high here. Now, depending if you're trading this resistance here or this resistance and prices are coming back down, this lower high, you do have just enough to scalp out for 6 ticks before you potentially run into here or run into here. So I think it would have been a safer as a one point scalp. Same thing here, 1 point scalp, although it would have worked for the one and a half. you'd have to sit through some heat because this one might have taken you out. But this one I think was more of a possible trade, but a conservative 1 point scalp. Prices moved down. I'm not really sure what happened here because this actually happened in quick succession. If you look at the timestamp, it did flush down and then reverse back up. And then this is kind of right where, around this region is where the candles and the price action really started to slow down. It really started to slow down. It took quite a few minutes, like maybe 2. And as these are kind of closing themselves out, they're not making really big moves either. So it just felt very choppy. It kind of gave me the impression it's kind of like a coiled spring that any kind of news, good or bad, could cause it to ricochet up or ricochet down. And that's kind of, I think, what kind of happened here. Was a little bit hard to see or hard to predict. So they just kind of moved sideways. It might have been in a range here. Localized highs. The first entry long pullback, second entry long. Unfortunately, it's the inside bar. I'm looking for a higher low now. The higher low shows up here, but I wasn't sure if this mini range was going to have a pullback here because it's a fail breakout here, fail breakout here. Is it going to pull back even though the bias is kind of bullish, kind of left to the low? Looked like it was moving up the screen, up channel break, test the high, then it kept going. That's when I decided to try to place this yellow up channel, which kind of has good confirmation here, starting point here, somewhat good confirmations on the high side, but it never really set up any trades. So localized high is a first entry long. Technically, you have a second entry long right here, but it's an inside bar, so I thought it was more like first entry long and then just a lot of noise, and then potentially a second entry long. If you did that, then you see a higher low here, but I wasn't too sure what was going on. Prices are slow. This is cutting right through the middle of the candles. So even though it's a higher low, I wanted to see a failed second entry short right about here, but it never shows up. Pushes the high side. It looks like it's one leg down, pull back, and it creates another localized high. It's a first entry long, pull back, second entry long. Again, it's below the EMA. I'm not too sure, just being extra cautious. Also, it's toward the end of the day. And toward the end of the day, looking back, I was like, there isn't that many candles printing. And I didn't really pull the trigger on the 2 possible trades that I thought previously. With only about 30 to 20 to 30 minutes left, don't try to make anything happen. I mean, you could recover. I'm already starting the week red from the red trade yesterday. I want a more clean, something I feel much more confident on. So definitely wasn't going to try to make anything happen right about here. So it's a second entry long here, as I said, pushes down first entry short, second entry short. The second entry short is too close to this potential support area, so I wouldn't have liked this anyways if it had happened earlier. Then it flushes down, break, then tests the low, and then this is in the last 10 minutes, which just gets, well, gets really volatile, and it kind of pushes into close. I'm not really sure why this is happening, but it does fit rather well, this big gray shallow up channel, because it has pretty decent confirmations, but I wasn't able to establish it till maybe about here, because it was here, and then maybe I had 2 touches here, but you get third touch here. But this resistance side is fine if I was looking to go short, because then you could use it as a key entry point. But on a clearly bullish day, I'm looking for confirmations on the support side to help, I guess, strengthen the idea of going long. So even though it has good confirmations here, I wasn't ready to counter trend. But then you don't really get a third confirmation till way over here. And this doesn't really fully establish until so late in the day that, unless you really trusted this based off of 2 bounces, even then, it doesn't really visit. Price action never comes back to really revisit the support side anyways. So end up being a kind of a slow day, no trade day. Hopefully tomorrow things pick up. I don't know if there's any other additional news items that's really going to move things tomorrow, because it doesn't look like it according to the Forex Factory. It doesn't seem like there's anything on Thursday, and then Friday maybe there is going to be something. It's the unemployment rate. I think non-farm employment changes, but those happen in the pre-market 5:30. So, and as always, the problems in the Middle East, just news announcements happening throughout the day, causes things to kind of rapidly spike up, spike down, like oil going up or down. It just affects the entire market. So hopefully that was helpful.